We're learning some new details about a first-degree domestic murder case out of Pawtucket last month.
As we reported, Matthew Dufresne is accused of killing his 84-year-old grandfather, Joseph Coursey, at his Eddington Street home on March 11th. Dufresne remains behind bars.
12 News reporter Alexandra Leslie has the details from newly filed court documents, including what police said about the night of the incident. Alex?
Well, Kim, court documents I obtained show that on the night in question, police found Joseph Coursey lying dead at the bottom of the first floor staircase, unresponsive. They say his grandson, Matthew Dufresne, was barricaded on the second floor for some time, and police had reason to believe that he had a gun. Pawtucket police describe a grisly scene at this Eddington Street home last month, where 34-year-old Matthew Dufresne is accused of killing his grandfather, Joseph Coursey. I obtained the police report, which shows officers were alerted by dispatch of possible firearms inside the home at the time of the incident. A police narrative says the caller was in Florida and had watched the assault on camera they have in their home. Officers say upon arrival, they found an elderly man bloody on the stairs with a large laceration to his neck. They found a small knife and baseball bat nearby. At that point, police say they heard someone upstairs, drew their firearms, and shouted for Dufresne to come downstairs. Police say he eventually surrendered and was wearing little clothing at the time of his arrest. Police were seen taking several bags of evidence out of the home that night. I obtained the search and seizure warrant, which shows police located, quote, numerous items of interest. The report didn't go into detail about those items, but mentioned detectives located a small .22 caliber revolver. Police said since Dufresne was on the second floor for some time before finally surrendering, he would have had access to the gun during a standoff with officers. Police believed there was probable cause for a search warrant to be issued for DNA samples from Dufresne to compare with swabs taken from the revolver. Now, I checked in with the Department of Health and learned Coursey's cause of death is still pending. Dufresne remains held without bail and is due back in court next month. Live in studio, Alexandra Leslie, 12 News.
Newly filed court documents reveal some details of what police found inside a Pawtucket home last month after an 84-year-old man was discovered dead inside.
12 News reporter Alexandra Leslie obtained the documents from court and police today. Alex, we have now some new information about what police encountered.
Yeah, Pawtucket police were tight-lipped about this incident last month. A police report I obtained now tells us how the victim was suspected to have died and why police were concerned that the suspect could have caused more harm once they got there. A Pawtucket police report I obtained details a gruesome and tense scene on March 11th. Officers responded to a home on Eddington Street for a report of an elderly male being assaulted by his grandson. On the way there, officers were informed by dispatch that there were firearms in the home, and a caller in Florida at the time had watched the assault on a camera they have inside. Police say when they arrived, they found the elderly man identified as 84-year-old Joseph Coursey. He was bloodied, and officers noticed a knife and baseball bat next to his body. The health department tells me the cause of death for Coursey is still pending more than a month later. Upstairs, police heard noises and called for the suspect they would later identify as Matthew Dufresne. Police were concerned when he ignored their commands, but say he eventually surrendered with his hands up. Police obtained a search warrant for the home, and knowing he might have been armed, also obtained a warrant to get a DNA sample from Dufresne. A report says this was so detectives could compare DNA samples from Dufresne with swabs taken from a .22 caliber revolver found in the upstairs bedroom. In the report, police said, quote, given the nature of the crime, domestic violence murder in the first degree, it is suspected that Matthew Dufresne handled the firearm in some fashion while barricaded on the second floor. Now, police said there were numerous items of interest seized from the home, but the report didn't detail everything that was logged into evidence. Dufresne remains held without bail and is due back in court next month. Live in studio, Alexandra Leslie, 12 News.